Welcome and thank you for tuning in to the Sean Inspires podcast. I am so glad that you've taken time out of your schedule to join me. Today is a special day. It's an amazing day. I have my very first life coaching client. She goes by the name of Marie Antoinette sitting in with me today, and we're going to get into the interview. She is doing some great things. She has an amazing show coming up on October 1st, but I'll let her tell you more about that as we move into the interview. So here's a little bit about Marie Antoinette 929. Marie Antoinette was born in Tampa, Florida, passionate about community initiatives that encourage healthcare education and supports children as well as single parent homes. Marie studied healthcare services, which led her into the field of anesthesiology with a deep rooted curiosity about fashion and art and how these industry sectors impact inclusivity. Marie's true calling emerged when a woman in a fabric store told her, "You're pretty for a brown skinned girl." Surprised that skin tone and color was still such a big part of society's narrative, Marie started development on Melanin, a documentary, book, lifestyle brand that positively demystified colorism, the bias or prejudicial treatment of people belonging to the same race based on skin pigmentation. In her own words, she goes on to say, "I always wanted to take care of people. It is why I studied healthcare. I wanted to bring better representation into the healthcare sector. My love for fashion and art, however, made me realize that representation was needed in more areas than just healthcare. And being able to build and create the Melanin Project has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life." In 2021, Marie launched Sapphire Diamonds, a bold and inclusive clothing brand. She also created the Sapphire Diamond Awards, an award that recognizes members of the community who are making an impact through relevant socioeconomic initiatives. On October 1st, 2023, Marie will launch her newest fashion line at the Sapphire Diamond Streetwear Fashion Reveal Award Show and Fundraiser. This streetwear collection, award show, and fundraiser will honor Katie Costner, the founder of Take Back the Night. And as we close, Marie says that she is a self-professed foodie. In her spare time, she loves to cook, enjoy meals with family and friends, and spend time by the water. What an amazing interview. And I know all of these great things about you as we have been working together almost about 4 years now. But in your own way, introduce yourself to the Sean Inspires podcast platform.
Hello, I am Marie Antoinette. I'm a creative director and I like to do all things fashion, art, anything with an artistic twist. But I like to tie that into socioeconomic issues. So a lot of times I create these projects that I'll work on for months at a time. And I just want to bring awareness to different calls to actions to different um, subjects that we deal with every day. And that's what I enjoy doing. I'm very passionate about it.
And you also, and your passion comes through in everyone who meet you. Just as you said, you walked in the fabric store and the lady said to you, "You're pretty for a brown skinned girl." And that sparked you into this whole development of melanin. But what was really I entitled this segment, for those that are listening, I entitled this segment, Fashion is My Life and Purpose, because all that I've come to learn about you, even in your casual daily wear, there's a fashion piece connected to you. Where did that all begin in your journey growing up?
I always say I came out the womb loving fashion because my mom used to tell me stories of being 3, 4, being upset if my socks didn't match with my dress a certain way, and just always wanting things to aesthetically look good. And so I really don't know. I just have always been that way.
Amazing. And then you branched out and so I would say it was developmental because from what I know, you didn't go into fashion school like most people do when they're passionate about the art, the fashion, creativity. You chose another path, as your bio stated. You chose the path of healthcare, and that in itself is a whole nother realm of taking care of people. But I love how you've taken your passion for fashion and your passion for people, and you've interwoven them into your life purpose.
Yeah.
When you finally decided to step into this brand new, not really, I don't even want to say a new work because it has always been in you and with you. But when you really decided to embrace the calling and the purpose of being a creative director, being not even realizing you would come to the levels of creating a Melanin 929 book, and then it turns into a docu-series. What was that feeling like for you starting out and then coming into the place where you are now, seeing all that you've accomplished?
Well, you know how it started, honestly, with you. I was taking sessions with you, and we used to talk about things as far as what was I passionate about and what grounds me. And I shared with you how I felt about fashion and clothes. I always loved it, but I just never went forward in a business sense. And it was the accountability from a life coach, you. So that's what started the process. And then just looking back on my work now, I think now I can sit back and appreciate it. But after like the first or maybe even second show, I never really paid attention to all the work and all the levels and blood, sweat, and tears I had been putting in it. Like I feel it when I'm doing it, but then it's just like I do it and I'm on to the next. But now I think I've done so many different projects and worked with so many wonderful people. And just like when I look back on pictures and videos, I am a little bit surprised, like, wow, we have done all of that. So um, I do enjoy the journey when I can look back at moments like that. Um, but yeah, that's how that started.
And would you say that for all those that are listening in the audience who are creatives in the fashion world, whether it's styling or creative directing, for those that are even in school and have been doing it, for a long time, or those that may be just getting started, what would be your golden nugget? One of your golden nuggets, because you have many, because you've experienced so much in this industry right now, what would be one of the things you would share with them for the person who is trying to figure out, is this really my calling? Is this really what I am supposed to do? What piece of advice would you share with them?
Um, I'm gonna say this, and it may not be all inclusive because everybody may not think the way that I think. But if you are a believer, because that's where I go back to with every project, because everybody may not believe in God. So, if you are a believer, that's the only way I can identify and kind of help those people because I don't see it any other way. But if you are a believer and you know that God has called you to do something, you just stick to the assignment no matter what it looks like. You're going to get the confirmations that you're on the right track as you stay committed to the assignment. It's going to feel like you might feel like you're going through hell. It probably is. But you will get those confirmations along the journey to let you know you are on the right track. And so, I don't know how I would explain that. I mean, maybe someone else may believe in like signs from the universe or something different, but I'm very spiritual and I'm just going to go back to God. So I know like when He's giving me an assignment that I'm supposed to follow through and see it all the way through. I know I'm on the right track. And even when I get discouraged or I am unsure, I get those confirmations at the right time to know, no, you are doing the right thing. So that's what I would tell them.
That's amazing information and beautiful wisdom to add into your life. So for those that are listening, please take note of this or put it in your phone, make a stick note of that advice for everyone that is listening. I love how you use your faith and your spirituality as your grounding sacred space. And I know the listening audience don't know this, but I know that you recently had a tragedy happen in your family and
Mm.
you lost your mom in the
Yeah.
midst of developing and building out the upcoming fashion show. So I just want to park right here just for a little bit. As you are still now coming to the few days, we have a few more days, losing your mom in the midst of this particular development.
Hmm.
How would you say your faith and you being the spiritual woman, entrepreneur, business creative, how has that carried you at this time and season?
It has to be the only thing that has carried me. I feel like it's a level of protection because if I was to operate in my own knowledge, I'd probably be crazy admitted in the hospital somewhere. So I think uh, having such a strong faith base and knowing that, even with my mom, I had to realize like she belonged to God before she ever belonged to me. So
I love that. Can you say
yeah.
that again for the listening audience? I love that.
Yeah, she belonged to God before she ever belonged to me. So while I definitely miss her and want her here,
It's okay. This is the
I'm
beauty.
okay.
This is the beauty of you being Marie Antoinette 929. And this is why I knew the timing, because those that are listening are probably walking in something very, very similar, and they need a lifeline.
Yeah,
And I know the virtue and the power and strength of God, in addition to your creativity that flows through you, that I knew you would be able to reach that person who may be in a dark space, emotional place of not being at their highest vibration spiritually. And I knew you being on the platform at this time, you would be the vessel to pull them and lift them to that place of liberation and comfort.
yeah, yeah. I'm definitely at a greater peace with the transition, but I have to have that faith to even be at this place because it's you feel confused like what why like well God, why would you give me all these great ideas if you're only going to take me through a storm, or all these different emotions and tragedies in the middle of it. It just doesn't seem right. But I know that when you have loved ones that transition as well, they can do so much more for you on the other side than they can in their body, right? So just keeping on, hanging on to my faith and just praying through it, it all works out, and I'm okay with that.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you've done several projects, as we mentioned in your interview
Hmm.
thus far. Out of all the babies and you are a natural mother, not just a creative mother, you're also a natural mother, and all of the pieces that you have created thus far, because there will be many more, I'm sure, to come up. So far, which of them has become your favorite? And tell the
Mm.
audience why.
Well, I used to always say that my very first one, Driving You Wild, was my favorite because that was like the first one, and measuring if I could do it. Like, can I put on this show? Can I make my visions, what I see in my mind, can I execute that and give people an experience? So when that happened, and I was able to look back like, okay, yeah, like I can do this. That always was my favorite. But now I want to say this upcoming one. It hasn't happened yet, but I think I've spent the most time with it. I started planning this show last year, and it just has so many different elements, and the messaging behind it, I think is very powerful and is bold. And the fashion line I love. I spend a lot of time on that. Um, I I'm starting to believe this will be my favorite.
Wow, that's absolutely awesome. And so, if we could talk about the mission behind it, you're partnering for this fashion show, you're partnering in the proceeds for those that are listening. As we mentioned earlier, this particular show is also connected with fundraising for those that do want to participate in the fundraising and donating aspect. we will make sure that before the show wraps that Marie Antoinette shares that information with you. But I would like to talk about what was the drive to partner with Katie Costner
Mhm.
in her being the founder of Take Back the Night. What was the driving force behind that partnership?
Well, I knew I wanted to partner. Well, the last couple shows I started giving back to an organization because I feel like that's important to give back to communities. As much as I love fashion, I never want to get caught up in just the superficial aspect of it. And I'm like a deep thinker, so whenever I can combine, the fashion with something going on in social injustices or anything like that, I'm going to do that. So the last Sapphire Diamond I donated to Sid Rep Sick Kid Foundation. And this year I wanted to partner with an organization that supported victims of sexual assault, sexual violence, anything like that, because that was the motivation behind the collection. My own personal experiences with sexual harassment and people just not understanding no means no. And it's such a common thing amongst me, my peers, and even when I was younger, we've all had these awkward or weird experiences, and some go as far as being extremely physical. So I wanted to partner with an organization that has more expertise in that field. I just can go off of my own personal experience. I'm not an expert in uh, talking to a bunch of people about it or whatever. It's just my own experience. So I wanted to make sure I had resources to give to people when I do talk about this, when I do promote this show, where they can find help, and get the things that they need if they have been a survivor or victim of sexual assault.
Wow, that's a great mission. And I love how you organically share that every project that I know you've worked on has always had a mission and a purpose behind it because it is very easy, even though the industry is such a booming industry on all spectrums in fashion, sometimes we forget to touch the community wherever we are, to reach back and to touch and to share and to put dollar back into the community because oftentimes we see that programs like those, they often have struggle in producing revenue to keep the funding and the resources and the tools in place to enhance and provide things that help. So the heart of you as a philanthropist and giver, I am so proud of you for continuing in that and seeing how you're taking your own finances. You don't have big sponsors, but it's commendable to see your passion behind partnership in making a difference in a community. And I believe that as even today we're sharing in the airwaves, that you will cause others to kind of look at things a little bit differently and not always go at it just for name and hype, but attach
Right.
a meaning and a purpose and a mission behind
Mhm.
whatever it is that they're endeavoring to accomplish. So, with all of that being said, I want you to unpack your self-care like regimen. How do you, a mom, an anesthesiologist, creative director, all of these entities in your life that you have moving, how do you keep you grounded and sane and moving in such everything that I see you touch is like excellence. Everything is excellent. How do you keep yourself moving in the fashion? For those that are listening who want to know the secret to how she's
Mhm.
thriving and growing, what are your secrets? Some of them.
Okay.
Don't give
So,
them
so
all away.
when I'm doing good, because sometimes I fall short. When I'm doing good, it starts with uh, meditating in the morning, um, exercising in the morning, and praying. Praying. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very clear.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you very
Start
clear.
um, praying in the morning, and sometimes just shutting out the noise. Like when I start to feel overwhelmed, or I can feel something rising. Like, okay, this is time for me to like shut things down. I just will. I'll shut it down. Sometimes the creative side of me, it is some hard to quiet my brain sometimes because it's always at almost at like a high stress level all the time, constantly thinking, 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 thinking. So I have to take that time to wind down. And it's not always easy, but I think when I can jumpstart my day, ease into my day, it's better. And I've noticed when I ease into my day, I don't feel pressed for time all the time. I feel like time moves a little bit slower. But if I'm jumping and moving and I didn't take the time to like pour into myself before my day gets started, it seems more chaotic and hectic. So like the secret to balance and all that, you have to remember to do it and keep yourself first, but to meditate, pray, exercise, eat right, because when I get hungry, that's a whole nother beast. So eat
We know
and
you're a
just
foodie.
yes, right, and do that first, and that can help you to stay balanced and get your life coach for sure.
But I love how you have really put all of those things, guys. Listen, I have literally watched Amber put everything, she's given you the secrets from her vault. I have watched her implement all of these things, and she's been through more tragic things outside of her mom passing that we will not delve into in this segment. But to watch her take all the tools and implement them and execute them consistently, that certainly is commendable. So take her tools, implement them, and as she said, it's very key. You have to take action and decide to do it.
Right.
So we are almost at the end of the interview, and I feel like we're at the thick of where we're going. So I want to close this almost by you just sharing how the people can connect with your brand, how they can show up on October the 1st and really just support you, celebrate with you, purchase the product. Let's talk about that. So, will you have merchandise on sale at the event? Tickets still available. So, if you could
Yeah.
share to those that are listening, y'all, I'm excited. I have a cousin flying in from out of town. She's all geeked up about it. So, we're going to have a great time. So, please share with the listening
Yes.
audience how they can partner in attend.
So you can connect with me mainly on Instagram. It's at Marie Antoinette 929. I have several links in my bio on the Instagram, so you can find the link there to purchase your ticket. I have a Sapphire Diamond Shopify store. It's www.sapphire929.com. There's a ton of merch that's going to be available, all type of t-shirts with different phrases and logos and sayings. I just actually posted a handheld fan today, and the fan, because at this fashion show, I have a small documentary that's going to open the fashion show called I Don't Want You. And it basically talks about the story of what inspired this collection, and it shows behind the scene. So I have this handheld LED fan that says I Don't Want You that just literally sold out. I posted it and I
Oh,
put it up there, and the amount that I posted sold out. So for VIP tickets, they have theirs in their gift bag at the event, and I'll have probably a few more for sale. But it's a lot of different merch: water bottles, flip flops, socks, all kinds of things. So the event is going to be great. I would love everybody to come and support it. Just the messaging alone, I know a lot of times you know somebody that has gone through this. And I think
absolutely.
that this show, my goal is I want to talk to the victims or survivors, the bystanders who play a role in these type of situations, as well as the abuser. And so everybody can get a lesson out of this show. So I'm excited about it. Yes, the show is October 1st at Atlanta Event Center from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Amazing. Absolutely awesome. And it's going to be amazing. Everything again, everything that you touch is like boom. And so I believe you're on the precipice of crossing over into a greater level of influence, impact, and partnership. And those who really see, know, and understand the vision of what you're doing. I believe now you are getting in the vein and in a flow where they will want to partner with your vision and support you and help you move at a higher dimension of impact and influence. I ask every guest who comes to the Sean Inspires podcast show to leave the listening audience with a word of inspiration or encouragement. So I open up the floor to you now. For those that are listening, whether it's one word or a few words, you now have the floor to share with them.
I would say don't be discouraged by the distractions. That's it.
I love that. It was short, it was sweet, and it reminded me of Sarah
Hmm.
Jessica Parker on her episode of Just Like That.
Yeah.
She gave one word, expectations. So I want to thank you so much for sitting in with the Sean Inspires platform today. And we look forward to seeing you soon on October 1st. For those that are listening, as I always say when I close out, until next time, stay strong and stay inspired. Bye now.